and shift our focus to some more news coming in. The Donald Trump administration in the United States has officially issued a notice regarding the imposition of an additional 25% tariffs on Indian imports, with the punitive duty set to kick in at 12:01 a.m. on August 27th. The notice issued by the Department of Homeland Security stated that new levies were in response to threats to the United States by the government of Russian Federation, and India was being targeted as the party of the policy. Now, the duties set out in the annex to this document are effective with respect to products of India that are entered for consumption or withdrawal from warehouse for consumption on or after 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on August 27th, 2025. That's what the statement read. My colleague Aditya Vadvan with us on the broadcast to give us more on this. Aditya, the clock is ticking, and of course, in less than 24 hours from now, there will be tariffs that will be imposed on India. What more can you tell us about the statement?
The Trump administration was very definitely expected to do this, and now officially the notice has been issued that additional 25% tariff will be imposed on India. Regarding this, there will be tomorrow a meeting at the Prime Minister's office regarding this as to what needs to be done, because, amid this trade war, Donald Trump, the U.S. trade team that were supposed to visit India is also not coming. So there appears to be a great deadlock between India and U.S. as far as this trade deal is concerned. And in the due course, it needs to be seen, from how things unfold in this scenario, because it is a very developing situation. Asavri.
All right. Aditya, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, sharing all those details with us. So, well, we have some more news coming in on that front. 2 days before punitive U.S. tariffs kick in, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India would withstand the economic pressure as it continues to strengthen its resilience. No matter how much pressure comes, we will keep increasing our strength to withstand it, is what he said during a public rally in Ahmedabad's Nicole area. The Prime Minister stressed that his government will never let harm come to small entrepreneurs, farmers and livestock rearers. In a veiled dig at U.S. tariffs, PM Modi said, today in this world there is politics of economic self-interest. Everyone looks out for themselves. We are witnessing this. In fact, listen in to what he said.
हर किसी के लिए मैं आपको बार बार वादा करता हूं, मोदी के लिए आपके हित सर्वोपरि है। मेरी सरकार लघु उद्यमियों का, किसानों का, पशुपालकों का कभी भी अहित नहीं होने देंगी। दबाव कितना ही क्यों न आए, हम झेलने की अपनी ताकत बढ़ाते जाएंगे। साथियों, आज आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान को गुजरात से बहुत ऊर्जा मिल रही है, और इसके पीछे 2 दशकों की कड़ी मेहनत है।
All right, Dr. Sharat Kohli, senior economist, with us on the broadcast to give us his perspectives on it. Sir, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for taking out time speaking to us on NewsX. Now, as the clock ticks, to what extent can India's Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, initiated back in 2020, help cushion the blow of Trump's steep 50% tariffs? What's your assessment?
Well, good morning, Asabri. Good morning to the viewers of NewsX. I think the whole mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat has been progressing well. You look at various sectors. I would like to highlight, for example, defense. Today, we have production of more than 1.5 lakh crores, and we are exporting more than 25,000 crores. So we are gradually getting there. But now is the time, because we've seen this dependence on imports and exports is counting on us. So we will have to speed up the pace. There's no doubt about it. So make in India. And I would like to, through your show, urge the young startups who are basically focusing on tech, they should come on to manufacturing, because manufacturing is the need of the hour. $100 billion deficit we have of China. So Prime Minister has laid a foundation, the government support is there, ease of doing business is there. But people now have to come forward by way of entering into the sector of manufacturing. I have seen a lot of youngsters, Asawari, shying away from manufacturing. They want to get into technology, they want to get into services. So I think for Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan to be successful, manufacturing has to pick up. India is doing pretty well. And as far as exporters are concerned, since he has raised a notification today, one day ahead of the 25% additional tariffs, I really don't think exporters should be worried, because GST norms on 3rd and 4th September, I am very sure this will be preponed, and the GST rates will be revised downwards earlier than we thought, earlier than Diwali. If that happens, I think exporters have got a free market. India is a huge market. 145 crore people is a huge market for exporters to start looking at inwards. And also they can always explore other markets. There is Europe, there is Southeast Asia, there is Far East, there is Africa, there is Australia. So there's a whole lot of new markets to explore. With India, the speed at which India is doing FTAs and bilateral agreements with various countries, I think it could be a temporary bump, this whole 50% tariff. But eventually India is going to sail through. Look at what Fitch and S&P Global has said.
Right.
Fitch has not changed our rating. S&P Global has changed our rating to BBB. Fitch has retained to BBB minus, which reflects a stable economy. So I really don't think there is any concern on the economic front, Asawari.
Right, absolutely. So I also want to understand from you. Now, the Aam Aadmi is not panicking right now, but yes, there is a slight sense of concern. How would you assess India's relationship with Russia and China at this key juncture? Have we positioned ourselves strategically to mitigate potential risks and capitalize on opportunities?
Well, India-Russia relations have been long-standing. They go back to decades, from the time of Raj Kapoor films, which were watched in Russia. I mean, India-Russia have always been close. So there's no new, bonding as far as Russia is concerned. I don't know what America is reacting to. As far as China is concerned, we've seen ups and downs. After COVID, the Doklam incident happened, then Galwan Valley happened. Obviously, it led the relations to a low. But I think over the last few months, the relations have seen a kind of a revigor. And, we have to thank President Trump. He's bringing the adversaries together. RIC, Asawari, Russia, India, China, is a very strong alliance. If these three countries bind together, you can imagine what can happen, because together we add up to a population of 285 crores, India and China. Add to that the Russian military might. I think the possibilities could be endless. So I see, although one has to be always very careful while dealing with China, because China sometimes can be very unpredictable. But as of now, Kailash Mansarovar has started. We know that India-China direct flights are going to start very soon. Visas have started. So it's a very good beginning towards a fruitful relationship. And I think this should give President Trump some sleepless nights. And a very important thing, Asawari, if you notice the statement coming from the Trump administration, a new thing has emerged, that they are levying these tariffs because they see Russia as a threat to America. So far, they were seeing that we were fueling, Russian war machine by way of buying oil because of Ukraine. Now, the new statement says that America sees a threat from Russia, which India is helping. I mean, these statements are ridiculous. I don't know from where, these thoughts are striking. China is buying larger oil volume from Russia than India, but no, nothing is coming. And today, President Trump has again said that, if China stops supplying rare magnets, I'll levy 200% tariffs. So there's Mr. Donald Trump somehow has to, some sense has to prevail while giving diplomatic statements, because it can lead to a very complicated situation. You can make, enemy out of your friend, and that too, a decades-old friend can be made an enemy by a reckless statement, Asawari.
Right, absolutely. Very pertinent and interesting points raised over there. I thank you for your time speaking to us on NewsX.